Hi, my name is Sarah Westerway and I'm a Master Practitioner with Healing Solutions. We're a group of practitioners who practice energy medicine on the phone with people all over the world for their non-healing issues. My own healing story began way back in the 80s when I was 18 months old and I was sitting on my mum's lap and all of a sudden I went really stiff in the neck and the back and they weren't sure what was going on, so they took me up to the hospital and immediately the doctors thought I had meningitis. So they did the test for that, but they came back negative and they just weren't sure what was going on. So I had to stay in hospital overnight and they did some more tests and sent me home and said to my parents, call us in a few days, we should have the results. Well, the doctor actually called my mum the next day and said, we actually think Sarah has leukemia. Well, my mum's legs went from out underneath her and she collapsed on the floor and, she was thinking, oh my goodness, here's this 18-month-old who's going to have to go through leukemia treatment. And back in the 80s, it wasn't as successful as it is today and, it was pretty brutal. So it was really worrying to my parents. So in the meantime, I just happened to be in Sydney and I started to bruise really heavily, and we were staying with my auntie who was a naturopath, and she just said, I think we should take her up to one of the doctors here in Sydney. So he actually referred me back to a pediatrician, and the pediatrician was really good. He knew exactly what was going on, and he said, Sarah actually has thrombocytopenia. So that's a blood hemorrhaging disorder where you bleed really easily, and if you bump yourself, you come up with really big bruises. So as you can imagine, as an 18-month-old, I wasn't very careful, so I was covered from top to toe in bruises, and they'd come out with really black cores and weren't really nice looking. So just luckily he was willing to just wait and see, and he just wanted to do some blood tests each month and just monitor my blood levels and just see what was happening. And from his research, he knew that children outgrew it, and it was likely that I would outgrow it without any major complications. And he didn't want to just throw drugs at it and hope it goes away. And my parents, being my parents, just always wanted to look at the why was something going on. So they were really pleased to have him and have him on board, knowing that they weren't just going to give me drugs to mask all the symptoms. So my auntie was a naturopath, so I was really lucky to have her in my life, and she helped me with all kinds of issues, particularly with hormone imbalances when I was a teenager. But when I was in my 20s, she passed away, and I really struggled with her death because we'd built a really nice relationship, and she taught me a lot of things about energy medicine. And I just thought there would be no one else who would know anything about energy medicine or about natural therapies. And I really developed these trust issues and thought no one's going to be able to help me the way she did. So, I was really worried and I didn't have anyone to contact. In the meantime, my sister found a video of Beth Daniel Jones, who is the founder of Healing Solutions. And she said, here's this story of this woman who has healed herself with this energy modality. And I think it's kind of like what our auntie used to do. And she used to talk about quantum energy. So I looked up the company and I found a naturopath on the team who is the lovely Carolee Johnson. And she's a master practitioner with Healing Solutions as well. And I did my first session with her. I was having severe belly aches, and no one could sort of tell me what was going on. And even though my celiac test came back negative, nothing was showing up. So she did a session with me, and within the first session, she helped me clean up my diet and found everything that was testing as a toxin to me. And when I adjusted my diet, I had no more belly aches. So within a couple of sessions, I cleaned up my diet and I cleaned up my environment, and I was having really good success. So it was time for me to fall pregnant, and unfortunately I had some fertility issues, and even though I'd cleaned up my diet and I'd cleaned up my environment, I thought I was able to fall pregnant really quickly, but that wasn't the case. So I was talking to Beth Jones and I said, can we please do a session? I just feel like there's something underlying here that I just can't get to the bottom of. Well, she did one session and I was pregnant the next month because I had a non-physical issue that I just didn't want to bring to the surface. And a lot of that was surrounding my auntie, but there were some other non-physical issues there that I just needed to show my body, and was able to release that within that one session. So I know how powerful this modality is. It's worked really well for me, and the next time that I was going to have a baby, I fell pregnant the first try, so there was no more fertility issues there. My kids are constantly getting sessions with the team or myself, and we deal with all sorts of things like constipation, sleeping issues, breastfeeding. We had mole problems, mood issues with kids, all kinds of things that we deal with. So, then it was time for me to take the leap, and I thought, I found this really powerful for myself, and it was time that I share this with others. So I'm now a practitioner on the team, and I hope that I can help lots of people with their non-healing issues so they can be free and feel the benefits of this modality. Thanks, and have a great day.